Yeah. So in the last class, we discussed the difference between fact and dimension. Basically, we do have fact and dimension where a fact is a numerical value which can be aggregated and which is going to impact on the business. And we discussed about the dimensions as well, like what actually dimension and the importance of dimension, where basically we have uh, like we have different dimensions have showed in Tableau just to relate with Tableau. So in general, like without a dimension, basically, if you are going to place a measure, you are going to get grand total. But if we have a dimension across that specific level of granularity, so you can stop the video, Paul Ruff. Basically, we have, let me drag and drop a table. I'm just relating with the Tableau. Okay. So what I mean to say is whenever you're going to use a measure, by default, you're going to get grand total without any dimension. Without any dimension, it shows grand total. But whenever you're going to place any dimension, let's say if you're going to use customer, you're going to get customer wise sales. Or when you use category, you can see category wise sales. Or subcategory, you can check on category wise subcategory wise sales. So dimensions, which gives context to the fact, and we do have discussed about ID columns and description columns. I'm going to explain that. So we have different dimensions like date related dimensions, customer related information, geographical data, and we do have product dimensions as well. So it depends on the domain which you are going to work on. Like we may have different domains like banking, pharmaceutical, healthcare, right? Communication domain. So we have different domains. So, but generally these are the regular dimensions which we are going to see, like date dimensions, customers, and geographical. These three are most common dimensions in any of the project. Correct. So let's discuss about fact table and dimension table. Then I will come back to data modeling concepts. So basically, fact table, right? So the structure of the fact table is like, so fact table consists of facts, example like sales, profit, discount, quantity. So we do have in fact tables, we do have facts and key columns. Okay. So what actually key column? So we do have key columns are nothing but a dimensions. Let's say if we want to establish a relationship between, let's say a time dimension table, right? Or a date related dimension table. So we have year, quarter, month, day. I'm going to give you more details when it comes to like the data modeling concepts, which is almost we are going to discuss the same. But let's say I have a dimension table. In dimension table, we do have only dimensions, which is you might have ID columns or description columns. Okay. But in fact table, we do have both facts and key columns. So I will explain what actually key column is. Okay. So basically, we may have like something like a DID, which is a common key column between these two tables. So in a fact table, we do have dimensions and facts. In dimension table, we do have only dimensions. So let's say we have city ID, and we do have item information, item ID, and we do have customer ID. So why we are going to use these key columns, or as I said, right, we do have key columns. We can also call it as dimensions, as ID columns are also as dimension, right? But in general, we have a concept called as primary key and foreign key. Okay. But remember, I'm going to explain all these points in star schema and snowflake schema differentiation. But let's remember this particular point, like in dimension table, we do have only dimensions, but in fact table, we do have both facts and dimensions. Okay, but I will give you more details here. So we have star schema and snowflake schema. So let's discuss about star schema. And this is very important. Star schema is basically one of the important in terms of real time. So because we do prefer star schema in Tableau or in almost all the reporting tools because of the better performance. Okay, what is star schema? So I'll tell you the definition and I will give you the example. So you'll understand. Basically, star schema is nothing but if a fact table is surrounded by multiple dimension tables, a fact table is surrounded by multiple dimension tables and have direct joins. This is very important. Direct joins between fact table and dimension table. So this second part of the definition is very important. So which have a direct joins. Okay, this one, direct joins between fact table and dimension table. So we should have a direct join between fact and dimension table. That's what this star schema. So, or let me give you the statement here. I just need a space. So I just grayed out this one because we are highlighting star schema. So let me give you the table structure and what is the advantage of star schema. So mostly, as I said, right, in real time, we are going to work on star schema. So we have a fact table, the same fact table, right? So let's say we have sales information, sales, profit, discount, quantity, and we do have key columns, but I'm going to tell you why we are going to use the key columns. Okay, so we have a fact table and let me know if you have any questions. And we do have a dimension table. Now I'm going to showcase a few dimension tables like we
I
have.
have a question, Ramesh.
Yeah.
I have a question, Ramesh. So can facts can be aggregated, right?
Fact can be aggregated, yes.
But dimensions can't.
So you mean to say like aggregation is, we discussed
Can
about
dimensions be aggregated too?
dimensions. Aggregation is like we are not going to use sum of category. We are not going to add furniture plus office supplies plus technology, correct? We are not going to use sum of category. But when you have sales, the default aggregation we are going to get is like sum of sales. This is what
Okay.
proper aggregate function. We have average of sales. You can see
Okay.
we are getting average. And if you want to go for minimum of sales,
Okay.
and you can also check on maximum of sales.
Okay.
Okay. So
Yeah.
we have different types of aggregations available. But
Okay.
yes, on top of dimensions, what we can do is you can just duplicate. You can see here, you can duplicate or let me do a duplicate on top of category and you can drag and drop into measures. Okay.
Okay.
You can drop
Okay.
into measures. What is going to happen is you're going to get a count. So, like count, why we use count? Basically, the number of categories, the category count here. Or let me do one more example. So we have subcategory here. So for furniture, how many subcategories? 4. Office supplies, we can see 9 items selected. and here 4 items selected. What I meant to say is, let me delete this. So generally we have employee ID, but if you want to know the total number of employees, we are going to use count of employee IDs.
Okay.
Correct. So you have to go for count. So let me duplicate this subcategory, and you can simply drop here to get a count of subcategories. Obviously, we are going to get one across subcategory level, but you remove this, you can see we have in category, we have 4 subcategories. In office supplies, we have 9. In technology, we have 4. That's the
Okay.
count. So basically, you can count the number of customers. That's what we generally use. The aggregation in terms of dimensions, the default aggregation we are going to use is count. We generally count the number of discrete values, the number of items, number of customers, something like that, number of days. But in terms of measures, yes, we have proper aggregation, like we can sum up the values, sum of sales, average, minimum, maximum, all these are aggregate functions. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. So this concept is very, very important. As I said, we have let's take a time dimension. We have year, quarter, month, and day. So I'm using day ID here, just an ID form. And you can also ask, why should we have only for day ID? Can't we use year ID, year, quarter ID, month ID, month name? Yes, we can do that. So we can also do like month name, month ID, day ID, day date, all this information. Yes, we can create all these related dimensions, but I'm just highlighting one particular column is day ID, which is the lowest level of granularity. Okay. You can also ask, why should we go for lowest level of granularity? So basically, whenever we are going to establish relationship between the tables, right, we do prefer the lowest level of granularity. That is what we discussed in the last class. Level of granularity, this is the lowest level of granularity, is the day level, because we have actual data across the day level. But in terms of any level, you can establish relationship at any level. Let's say if you want to aggregate the data across month, you have to use month ID in fact table to get the relationship between fact table and time dimension table across month level. But most of the cases, right, so we used to go for the lowest level of granularity. Even we can establish relationship across high level, we can maintain different levels of data. I will showcase that example. I have a sample data, as I said, which we are going to discuss on Snowflake schema. Star schema is pretty straightforward. The concept is, if we have multiple dimensions, let's say I'm going to use customer related information, customer dimension, which is we have customer ID, customer name, customer address, customer phone number, and you can consider another table like geographical table, geographical dimension data, that is country, region, state, city. You can use city ID or city name, city ID. And you can also go for product relation information, product related information like product dimension. So we have product ID, product name, category, So category. So these are the sample data. So no need to worry about all these dimensions, but just to understand the relationship between the tables, just concentrate on these ID forms. Basically, we have customer ID, city ID, and product ID. So whenever we are going to establish relationship between the tables, we have a concept called as primary key. And we do have a concept called as foreign key. Okay, so we have primary key and foreign key. And do you know we do have unique key? What actually unique key? These are basics, okay? Absolutely like the core part of database, the basics, okay? Primary key. What actually primary key? Any idea? Or what is unique key?
What are keys in the first place?
A unique key, I think the one that doesn't have any duplicates.
Perfect, great. So basically keys are nothing but key columns, okay? Generally we do call as key columns, okay? So we do call as ID columns. ID columns or key columns. We do use the terminology called as key, primary key, unique key, foreign keys, okay? So basically we don't have any duplicates, no duplicates. Unique identification number, right? That is what example employee ID. Employee ID is a unique key, which we don't allow duplicates. But if you want to set that particular employee ID as a primary key, then that is unique. That means no duplicates and it is not null. Okay. So primary key is nothing but it is unique and not null. Very important. I'm going to explain one of the related information regarding primary key. A perfect example whenever we are working on Tableau, loading the data, which is incremental refresh. I'll showcase the importance of primary key. But primary key is unique and it is not null. So it is not going to allow null values. Okay, remember that. So, and unique key, basically, as I said, we may have a number of unique keys in a table, but generally we do have only one primary key. That's a proper primary key. Like we may have different columns as well. It depends on the requirement. We have composite keys and all those things, but importantly, just concentrate on this particular scenario. Like we have primary key and we do have a foreign key. Primary key is nothing but generally we are going to create primary key in the parent table. Let's say for geographical dimension, city ID is the primary key. Okay, we are going to tell that we are going to create generally in a table, right? We are going to create a table and we are going to mention that it's a constraint. Okay, primary key, foreign key, all are constraints in database terminology, but they are going to mention that this is primary key. Okay, they have to mention primary key city ID in the database level there while creating the table. So what it does is, like whenever we are going to load the data, if it is a primary key, when you try to load duplicate values, it won't take. Okay, it won't load the duplicates information into this particular column. Even though we are trying to insert the data, we are going to get an error because it won't allow duplicates. That's the importance of primary key. So employee ID, when you set as a primary key, it won't allow duplicate employee IDs. It won't allow null values. And when you use a particular column, if you want to refer this same city ID in one of the table, any dimension table or a fact table, then that particular column we do refer as a foreign key. Okay, so whenever you are going to use a particular column in a different table, and if you want to establish relationship between these tables, basically we are going to mention that as a foreign key. What is foreign key? Foreign key is like subset of primary key. Subset of primary key. Subset of primary keys. I'll showcase a proper data set, exactly the structure of fact table and the dimension tables. But foreign key is nothing, but it's a subset of primary key. And one of the interview question, it's on a high level, but one of the interview question may not be asked, but for the database level, for sure they are going to ask this question. Let's say I have employee ID. This is one table, which is a primary key. Let's say this is a primary key. And I do have 100, 101, 102, 103. These are the employees in one of the table, which is a primary key. And I'm going to use employee ID as a foreign key in another table. Let's take an example, employee ID, which is a foreign key. Okay, which is a foreign key. So I'm going to use 100, or let me create a stable actual table structure so that you'll get more clarity. Okay, so let's say I have employee ID, employee name, and here it is, John. This is one table. Okay, so and in another table, like I have a department ID here, department ID and DEPT name. So let's say I have 10th department 20, and here we have department name like HR and some developer, something different role, okay, or accounts. So I have a couple of departments. Now I want to know particular employee comes under which department, right? So I want to use department ID here. If you are going to use department ID in this particular table, then that will become as a foreign key. So this is a primary key which you don't have a duplicates, correct? And it's a parent table. And this will become a foreign key. So if you mention that it will be taken care by database team, okay? You don't worry about this primary key foreign keys, but just try to understand the concept. So when it is primary key, we don't have any duplicates. But now I want to know the employee department information so that I can get the information. If you have a common key column, even you can also use employee ID here to get a relationship, but I'm using department ID. So let's say John comes under like HR department. Adam is also like HR, and we do have 20. And let's say I'm going to add a couple of records here. Okay, so now I do have 3 different departments here. So you can see like 10th department, and these 2 employees comes under 20th department, and I can see 104 comes under 30 department. And this is what primary key, and this is a foreign key. But you can see in the actual department table, we have only 2 departments. But when it comes to like employee table with relationship between department ID, I do have 10th department. That's good because we have 10th department here. I do have 20th department, which is also correct, but I have 30th department. Is it valid or invalid? Do you have a 30th department? You understand, right? Do we have department 30 here? Hello? Anyone? Godson, Harry?
Hello?
Yeah. Do we have 30th department here? So we don't have, correct?
No, no.
But whenever you're going to try to insert this for this particular employee, if you're going to try to insert 30th department, it won't allow. It won't take that 30th department because it's not present in the primary key. You can add n number of, like if you can add 20th department, 20, 20, 20, like for all the employees, depends on the role or depends on the like departments, like whatever the role they are going to work on. But if you are going to try to insert other than 10 and 20, it will throw an error. That is what foreign key. If you mention, hey, this is a foreign key, that means it will relate with this particular key column. Whatever the data we do have in primary key, the subset of data you are going to get that in the foreign key. That is 10, 20, and this is not applicable, not valid. 30th department is not valid and it is going to throw an error because it won't allow 30th record. That's what the foreign key. So whatever the data present in the primary key, it will allow only that particular information in the foreign key. Whether you can have duplicates, it's not a duplicated data because which we are referring to employee ID, but you can see some duplicated records here, but it's not actually duplicate because we are referring to a particular employee individual information. But this is what important, very important. The concept is like, if someone asks like what is primary key and foreign key, primary key is not null and it is unique, which does not allows duplicates, but foreign key is nothing but it's a subset of primary key. Okay, so that's the importance of primary foreign key relationship, that is to establish relationship between the tables. Now when you use this product ID, right, so let's say if you want to use product information, so this will be actually in the table structure, so you don't worry about the tables. As I said, right, we actually have all these columns, all these primary foreign keys or all these common key columns. You don't worry about that, but just to understand how they are going to relate these tables, establish the relationship between the tables. So I'm just showing all this information. So we have, these are all foreign keys. That's the reason I said, right, it's our key columns. So these are all foreign keys, and we do have relationship between a fact table and the dimension table. Let me do this. So now you can just check the definition. So the definition is basically, if a dimension table is related, like if a fact table is directly related with a dimension table, that is what a fact table must have a direct join with all the dimension tables, right? So whatever the dimension tables we do have, we should have direct joins between a dimension table and a fact table. That is what star schema. Surrounded, okay, generally that's a terminology. So a fact table is surrounded by multiple dimension table. That's just a terminology. But the important point is we should have direct joins between fact table and dimension table. Clear? And I will showcase, you'll get more clarity when it comes like Snowflake schema. But basically, I'll quickly showcase an example here because as I said, right, I have a Microsoft Access database, which is a tutorial data I will share with you, which is a 100 MB file. So let me open. This is perfect example for Snowflake schema, but just to relate what actually the table structure of fact table and dimension table. Okay. Let's say we have this day center sales, or you can take customer sales, any table, this item employee sales, item month sales, city center sales, city underscore month sales. These are all the tables. These are all fact tables. So which mention underscore SLS, right? The ending with SLS or fact tables. And this is just a terminology, LU, right? It starts with LU. LU is nothing but lookup. Lookup is nothing but a dimension table. Lookup tables are also nothing but a dimension table. So let's say I do have day center sales. Okay. Whenever you're going to drag and drop day center sales, you're going to get the sample data here. But let me showcase here. Interestingly, when you connect to any database or any of the data, you have an option, as I said, right? You have an option called as view data. Click on this view data and you can see the sample records here. Now, as I said, what actually a fact table? Now you can relate with this. This is the proper structure of the fact table. Clear? So now you can see here. So we do have day date. Okay, we do have day date, which is a foreign key, and we do have a call center ID, which is also a foreign key, but we have gross dollar sales, total cost, total. So we do have total dollar sales and total unit sales, correct? So let's consider this is sales, profit, discount, and quantity, as I said, right? Just relate with this. This is a fact table. We have facts like sales, profit, discount, but we have gross dollars. This is a sales fact table, right? Sales related information. So we have gross dollar sales, total cost, total dollar sales, and total unit sales. Okay. But importantly, in this particular fact table, we do have only two key columns, which is call center ID, and we do have day date, something like a day ID. Okay. So we have day ID and we do have call center ID. So this is the proper fact table example. And interestingly, let me double click. I will tell you what actually it is. Interestingly, if you want to relate, this is a fact table, right? This is a fact table. And if you want to relate with one of the dimension table, we have a day table. So I will tell you what actually how we are going to establish relationships. Whenever you're going to drag and drop a table into Tableau, default you're going to get the relationship, and we need to check whether we are getting proper join or not. I'll take a separate session on this. Okay, so you can see joins. We have different types of joins: inner join, left join, right join. Let's put aside. But what is the common key column between these two? Call center table and this dimension table, day dimension table, day date, correct? So we have a common key column between these two tables. In LU underscore day table, this one in LU underscore day, let's look into the data. Don't be confused because I'm going to share all the information regarding this Snowflake schema. That is very important concept. Let's put aside these four. You can see I have a day date column, correct? This is a primary key. You can see we don't have any duplicates. So I just sort it out. Just click on this to get sorted out. So we don't find any duplicates when it comes to like primary key. So this is what the primary key. But when you look into this day table, we have a foreign key like month ID, quarter ID, and year ID. So I'll tell you why they have placed month, quarter, year ID in this particular table, because this is a Snowflake schema structure. But this is where you can just simply establish the relationship between the tables, like fact table to the dimension table. Similarly, we have this one, right? A fact table consists of facts, and we do have key columns. And as I said, we do have foreign keys, and these are all primary keys. Okay. So any questions on this? Just a relationship I will showcase practically, because in Snowflake schema, right? As I said, this is the database. This is the data. You'll get more clarity whenever I'm going to explain Snowflake schema. Star schema is like whatever the data we connected, right? The sample superstore data. Let's go back to sample superstore data. Let me showcase this. So in the sample superstore data, this is kind of a star schema, but in the orders table, we have both dimensions and measures. But when you look into this orders table, I'll just showcase the table structure. We have category, city, country, and we have different columns, but you can see region, correct? We have this region column. Okay. In the orders table, we do have region. In the people table, let's look into the people table structure. It's a very small table, and you have person and region, correct? So in this particular table, we don't have duplicate data, just a person information, and we have 4 regions: west, east, central, and south. What we are going to do is, in the orders table, we don't have a person, we have a customer name, right? Here you can see we have customer ID, customer name, but I don't think we have a person name. So we don't have person column here. We have customer name, but what is the common column between these two tables in the orders table and people table? Region, correct? So now, whenever you are going to drag and drop people table here, just drop the table. By default, you can see we are getting a relationship between these two by using a region column. You can see this is what region from orders table and region from people table. Got it? So that is what one of the flexibility in Tableau, but I will showcase the importance of these relationships. So this is kind of a star schema where we have orders table which have fact information in both dimension. And now when you drag and drop returns table, right? So let's view the data, what actually return table, whether it is returned or not, right? You can say returned yes or no something. But we have a common column called as order ID. This is order ID, close. And you can check whether we have order ID in the orders table or not. Yes, we have this order ID, correct? Have this order ID. So whenever you are going to drag and drop returns table here, now what is happening here is clearly it's relating with orders table and returns table. You are getting that line correct. Now you can see we have a relationship between orders table and returns table by using a common key column called as order ID. And if you don't want to go for order ID, and if you want to use customer ID, and if you have any customer information in the orders, in the returns table, you can also do that. What I mean to say is you can also change the relationship between the tables by using different common key columns. But you can see this is kind of a star schema. I'm not saying it's a perfectly star schema, but this is kind of a star schema where we have orders table and we do have a couple of dimension tables like people and returns dimension table. Clear? So this is what kind of a star schema. So the advantage of star schema is star schema gives a better performance. Star schema gives better performance. And basically why Snowflake schema is not preferable in the sense, yes, this is one of the important schema to understand the data model, but Snowflake schema, basically we do have a lot of tables in when you compare with star schema. So I'm going to explain that on Monday, but I'll just quickly showcase what actually the Snowflake schema, but anyhow, I'm going to repeat once again on Monday. So star schema is nothing but we have all the information, let's say all the time dimension related information in one single table, or geographical related information in one single table, and the product related information in one single table, right? So we have less number of tables in star schema, And as I said, we do have direct joins between fact table and dimension tables. And if you have 100 tables, if you have 100 tables overall, mostly 2:8 ratio. Let's say 20 fact tables and 20 fact tables, and you may have 80 dimension tables. Okay, so basically what I mean to say is you may have more number, we generally have more number of dimension tables, but 20 fact table is huge. Like I do feel like, yeah, it depends on the number of tables, but let's say if you have 10 fact tables and more number of dimension tables, it depends, but we don't generally work on a lot of dimension tables. It depends on the project, but this is what the ratio. We have very less fact tables and more number of dimension tables. That's the ratio. But I'm going to explain in detail how we are going to, if we have multiple fact tables, how we are going to establish relationship between the dimension and fact table. I'll discuss on that as well tomorrow, or like in the next class, that is on Monday. But basically, Snowflake, I will tell you why star schema gives a better performance. Let's consider like we have fact table and time dimension table, and we do have a relationship between these two, correct? And the select statement, the basic select statement looks like is select. So let's say I want to create year-wise sales report, year comma sales. I'm writing a generic SQL. So I want to create year-wise sales report. So I have year in time dimension table and sales from fact table, correct? So fact table, you can use alias as FT, and time dimension table, you can use something like TD, just an alias name, where FT dot fact table dot, what is the common key column between these two tables? Day ID. Fact table dot day ID is equal to time dimension table dot day ID. So you'll get more clarity. No need to worry about that. So this is what a simple select statement to create year-wise sales report. To create year-wise sales report, this is year and sales. We should have a proper join, right? If you don't have a join between the tables, you'll get all the combinations. You'll get all the unwanted records. That means it's a kind of a cross join. Cross join is an error. I'm going to tell you what are all the types of joins and how it helps. But let's understand this. So we do have a primary foreign key to establish the relationship between the tables. That's first point. And you can see here in between fact table and dimension table is direct relationship, right? Only one single path. You can see this one link. So just remember this RDBMS rule. RDBMS rule for joins. If you have n tables, very important, if you have n number of tables, you should get n-1 joins. This is what the RDBMS rule, relational database management rule. So generally, if we have n number of tables, let's say consider only these two, because I need to create year-wise sales report, correct? If I want to create year-wise sales report, okay, so year is from time dimension and sales is from fact table. So we do have only two dimension tables. If we have two dimension table, or not two dimensions, sorry, two tables, one is fact table and one is dimension tables. If we have two tables, that is n tables, that in place of n we have to replace with 2. If we have two tables, we should get 2-1, that is one single join. That is what this is, the join here. Clear? So this is the join, a fact table dot day ID equal to time dimension table dot day ID. That is what the common key column between the tables. Clear? But on Monday, I'm going to explain Snowflake schema, and I will relate again with star schema so that you'll get more clarity. For sure, you'll get more clarity because this particular data is very, very important. This tutorial data is very important. You'll get more clarity with this kind of information. So we have a lot of tables here. I'll give it just a quick information on Snowflake schema. In Snowflake schema, we do have separate table for day. You can see we have day table
Question,
here.
Ramesh.
Yes.
What if you have more than one join?
Yes, that's what the concept called as one join is. Yes, we have multiple joins. Let's say if you have, if I'm going to create, let me showcase a quick thing. I will showcase that. So now, what is the relation? Like how many joins we have here? And I'm going to showcase practically now. But anyhow, I will give you more detail tomorrow. So one join, correct here.
Yes.
Now, that's what I'm going to say. We have separate table called as month in Snowflake schema. This is Snowflake schema table structure. But do we have separate table for year, quarter, month in star schema? No. Complete information, the date related dimensions, complete information is present in one single table. But when it comes to like Snowflake schema, the table structure is different. So this is kind of a normalized structure. So I'm going to give, that's what I'm going to give more information. We don't have much time now. So what I mean to say is, basically in Snowflake schema, we have all the different tables, individual tables, like for month, we have separate table, for quarter, we have separate table, for year, we have separate table. But you said, what if you have more than one single join? Yes. Now, if I'm going to create, if I'm going to, if I want to establish relationship between day to month, you can simply drag and drop LU underscore month table here. Now, how many joins we do have? This is one. No. Three tables, 1, 2, 3, correct?
Yeah.
How many links? 1 and 2.
2.
2 joins. But if I want to showcase practically in the SQL, the SQL statement, let's say we have new custom SQL, right? But we are not expertise in SQL to write a custom SQL now. We have an exceptional functionality in Tableau. Remember, we have 3 tables. Now go back to data. We have an option called as convert to custom SQL. You can see convert to custom SQL. Click on this. Whatever the tables we pulled into Tableau, Tableau will convert this complete table structure into custom SQL. Yes, we have different tables, different column names. I'm going to showcase that, as I say, right? I'm going to explain these, all the related information in the next class. But let's concentrate on this. How many tables we do have in general? 3 tables here, 1, 2, 3. And how many joins we are getting here? How many joins here?
2.
2 joins. That's the RDBMS rule. And this is, we didn't written manually, right? So it's converted, and you can see day center sales dot day date equal to day table dot day date. Okay, this one, day center sales, this day center sales dot day date equal to LU underscore day table dot day date. So what is the common key column is day date
Day date.
between these two tables, day center sales and LU underscore ID. And here LU underscore day table, this one, and LU underscore month, this table. In between these two tables, what is the common key column we do have?
Month ID.
Month ID. So that is what 2 joins. This one single join, and this is one more join. So what is the RDBMS rule which we are discussing is, if we have n tables, you should get n minus 1 joins. But in this particular concept, we have only 2 tables because all the information is residing in one table. And if we want to fetch year-wise sales, I have year in time dimension and sales in fact table. So straight away, I can consider only these two tables. But in terms of Snowflake schema, right? Here we have month. Again, you need to drag and drop to get year-wise sales. You need to drag and drop quarter, and you need to drag and drop year. So, but I'm going to explain in general, I'm going to explain more detail, because when you drag and drop quarter table here, what is going to happen is, so you can see I'm getting a relationship between day table and quarter table, but I want a proper hierarchy, like a day to month, month to quarter, quarter to year. That's what I mean to say. I'll take more time to explain this particular data on Monday. Okay, so how to break this relationship and how to establish relationship between month table and quarter table, so we'll discuss in detail on Monday, which is, that is what the concept called as Snowflake schema.
Okay.
She'll get more clarity on Monday for sure, because very important in terms of data modeling. But we are not going to use Snowflake schema in real time, because it's for sure it will degrade the performance when it comes like Tableau perspective. Because if you are if like simple, generally Snowflake schema is like, for each dimension we do have each individual dimension table. For we have for year we have separate dimension table, for quarter we have separate dimension table. So how we are going to break this table, how we are going to establish those individual tables, that is what Snowflake schema. So we'll discuss that on Monday. Okay. So, and
Okay.
I will repeat, and I will repeat the same star schema, and I will just relate with star to Snowflake schema, so that you'll get more clarity. But this is very, very important concept. You have to understand the data, because if you're not aware of the data, concentrate on the columns. You don't worry about primary foreign keys. In worst case, we have to check with whether it is a primary or foreign key. But in terms of Tableau, this is what the flexibility you can see. When I drag and drop a table, right, it's simply you can drag, let's say month table. This is one of the flexibility. When you drop, straight away I'm getting a relationship between day to month. That's perfect. At least it is identifying few of the key columns. The common, it identifies the naming convention, same naming convention. But even if you don't want to relate with month ID, you can change that. That is what I said, right? I'll showcase that on Monday.
Okay.
So this is what start schema, and we'll discuss on Snowflake schema in detail. Let
Okay,
me know if you
Ramesh.
have any questions. Yes.
Ramesh, the star schema you just put now, database, will you show you exactly, once they give you a database, will you show you exactly, as in most database, will they have exactly the star schemas, or they have a different one that will be Snowflake schema?
Most of the cases, right? Most of the cases I have seen nowadays, recently we have, it depends on different, see, for Snowflake schema, if you want to design a Snowflake schema, for sure they have a proper design, they have a proper architects to build a separate Snowflake schema data model. Okay, but in general, in real time, most of the data, the ETL or whatever the database team or the data modelers, they are going to build 99% of the cases you'll find star schema nowadays. But it depends on the project. Let's say if they want to build perfect Snowflake schema for the proper projects or proper requirement, yes, for sure, Snowflake schema is also important, but it depends on, completely depends on the tools, and that depends on the project they are going to work on. Because let's say banking domain, if you can take a banking domain, you may have to consider hundreds of columns. Overall, you may have thousands of columns, and we cannot create thousands of tables, and it's not possible to establish relationship between 1,000 tables, right?
Or
So
with the star schema, you can't establish a data with it, because the data you have is more, is as in is many, or what?
now what I mean to say is, that's what in Snowflake schema. So how many tables for time dimension here, for year, quarter, all this in one table, correct?
Yeah.
In Snowflake schema, This larger dimension table, that is what the definition, the larger dimension table is divided into multiple sub-dimension tables. So in star schema, we have, let's consider only this table. In star schema, we have one table, but in snowflake schema, we do have day table, day dimension table separately, and month dimension table separately, and quarter dimension table separately, and we do have year dimension table separately. So 1, 2, 3, 4 dimension tables. But in star schema, it's complete information in one table, which is
Oh,
good.
just one dimension.
Yes, it's one dimension table. But in snowflake schema, you have day table separate, month table separate, quarter and year table separate. That's what I shown here. This is separate day table. We have only day related information. This is separate month table, and you have separate quarter table. Here you can see quarter, and separate year table. So that is what purely depends on the requirements, whether they have to go for the normalized data model. That is what snowflake schema. So I'll tell you what is the advantage and disadvantages. But for star schema, for sure, the advantage is performance. And Tableau, if someone asks in interviews, so which one do you prefer? For sure, this is 100% interview question. What is star schema and snowflake schema? And if someone asks like which schema do you prefer for Tableau? Yes, we are going to 100% for sure. We are going to prefer star schema because of better performance. I'll tell you
Okay.
why do we get better performance. I'll relate with snowflake schema SQL with star schema SQL, and you'll get more clarity on that.
Okay.
Clear all? Yeah.
Yeah, it's clear.
Thank you.